The global mobility function has become closely integrated with that of the talent strategy. It is absolutely critical that we understand the objectives and the talent strategies that the organization have and put in place programs that will attract that talent and support the talent growth of the organization.
A top tip I would give global mobility professionals moving people into the US is to really plan. Immigration is always a big challenge for anybody coming into the US. The timing is a challenge. What we think might be 4 months could be 5 months. So really think through, manage expectations with hiring managers around timing, and think through when the person can come to the US. That way you'll have less stress for the hiring manager, but you'll also have less stress for the employee and their families who are now anticipating quite a big move and the stresses that go around that.
Mobility should be part of the EVP organization, but through talent. Talent and recruitment, but especially through talent. I think the merging or having a very, very strong collaboration between mobility and talent, that helps actually to make sure that both from attractiveness and development perspective, we will be part of the EVP agenda.
So for any company that's thinking about expanding, opening a new location, ramping up a product or technology, whatever that might be, whatever industry you're in order to do that, you need people, you need talent. And a lot of times that talent isn't local. So really, it's a key place where global mobility plays a role in helping move those talent. Ideally, especially if there's like a new groundbreaking or new location, global mobility is part of that team that's putting together the strategy on how to ramp that and creating the right policies and the timelines, because there could be immigration or other considerations. And so I just would say that we play, again, a really key and pivotal role. And then on the flip side, if we're not part of that conversation, I think it can often lead to the business not actually achieving whatever their desired outcomes are, because they may not be able to get the talent that they need into that location to achieve whatever their objectives are.
For employee, it's more like a question mark. I think global mobility is more like a question mark, mostly for the employee, especially for the ones that they don't have any kind of international experience in the company. So it's always a good chance to sit down and have a good conversation with the employee, just to explain the function, why we are there and how we are going to support them. So for the experienced employees, and when I say experienced, for international experienced employees, they know that the global mobility is there for them, just to support them and be there whenever they need them. But for the unexperienced employees who are new to the business in terms of international experience, I think it's a question mark that we need to fill in. We need to explain about the function in the business.
It is very crucial because we can have a lot of great talents and we want to grow them. Or for example, they need to really develop the other people in other countries. However, if we don't have the budget to send someone to work in the other country, then this is an issue. Then this is a restriction because we're limiting our talents. That's why budgeting and forecasting the transferee are very important at every stage.
Oh, to the employee, once they're shown, if they've gone from a non-global mobility type of organization to a global mobility organization, it's usually like they hit the jackpot. And not necessarily in the sense of monetary reasons, although that can certainly come into play. It's more a case of, I don't have to do anything. I can just show up at work. I don't have to worry about this and I don't have to worry about that. And and if it's done well, and if it's done correctly, it really can be and should be a seamless process from start to finish for the employee. My goal is, and always has been and will continue to be, that the employee should be able to show up at work in the host location on Monday morning completely stress-free as much as possible. There's obviously going to be some level of stress because you are moving to a new place. But at least they're not going to have to worry about where am I going to be living, how am I going to get to work, and how do I get my money from my former location to the new location, where are my kids going to go to school, that sort of thing. And what about taxes? I know I was in that country for this amount of time and now I'm in this country for this amount of time. Well, if everything is done correctly, that should be a seamless thing for them. And when I have worked with organizations where we've gone from non-global mobility to mobility, that is the feedback that I receive. And people that have done relocations within both before and after mobility have given me that feedback, saying that, this is amazing. I wish this had been here previously, because this is night and day difference. And that's really what it should be. It should be a seamless experience for the employee and their family. It's stressful, and having done this, I think I've immigrated 3 or 4 times. I had lost count. Having done this myself a few times. In fact, I wrote an article about it in Mobility Magazine a number of years ago. It really is a level of empathy that you can understand for the employee and their family, and you want to bring that to the table so that they know that the pain that they're going through, and that you can empathize with them appropriately and help them, help talk them off the ledge, so to speak.
Within HR, global mobility is really seen as that strategic partner. I think global mobility is seen as the trusted expert that your HR business partners can go to when they're fielding questions from their associates that are coming to them, or when they're tasked with sending someone on an international assignment. So I really think from an HR business partner standpoint, the global mobility team is their first line of defense. They're going to come to the global mobility team and that function to really get the guidance and information that they need to go back to the businesses that they support.
I think global mobility to the employee is often, the service itself, I think, is often a surprise in the fact that they are relieved that there is one dedicated person within the organisation that understands all the aspects that need to be considered when it comes to them relocating or going on an assignment. And so for me, I often see that sense of relief and appreciation more than anything from an employee. There are certainly times where there are frustrations that come from the employee, mainly usually due to external factors such as shipping or immigration circumstances, but they have a great level of trust in their internal global mobility practitioner that they will get on top of it and make sure that the employee experience is as seamless as possible
across all the different geographies. To the employee, global mobility is the organization's investment into their career, as well as creating valid opportunities in their career advancement. Being able to progress, especially in my organization where I work, one of the key determinants into your career progression, if you're looking at a vertical career progression, is to have geographical exposure in different markets. And how are you going to get there? True, there are what we call virtual assignments, but in order to be able to soak the local knowledge, to be able to learn from your colleagues without being physically there, still can be challenging. The global mobility truly support the employee in pushing forward their career progression.